The Airbnb that checked itself in asterisk. I don't really know how to start this story without sounding crazy, but I'll try to tell it the way it happened, straight, unedited, the way I remember feeling it in my bones. Asterisk, it was supposed to be a quiet weekend. Asterisk, just a simple 3-day reset in a small town I'd never heard of before. Red Willow, Colorado. I booked an Airbnb, a little guest house behind someone's property, because it looked cheap, clean, and private. The listing had 5 stars from a dozen travelers, all saying things like, asterisk host is hands off, very quiet place, great sleep, asterisk. Didn't see anyone the whole time. Perfect remote stay. It was exactly what I wanted, but I didn't understand what hands off meant until it was too late. Asterisk, and by then, the thing staying in the dark corners of that Airbnb already knew I was alone. 1. Arrival asterisk I got to Red Willow just before sunset on a Friday. The town was small, like blinking to miss it. Small. A diner, a gas station, a hardware store, and maybe 20 houses scattered around the pine-covered hills. Asterisk, the Airbnb was behind a pale blue 2-story farmhouse. The host, a woman named Marjorie, messaged me instructions. Asterisk, greater than drive around the right side of the house. Your guest house is behind the shed. The key will be in the door. Asterisk, I didn't see her or anyone, not even in the windows. Asterisk, the guest house was nicer than I expected. A converted garage with a deck, a new lock, clean siding. Inside, it smelled faintly like cedar and lemon cleaner. There was a tiny kitchenette, a couch, and a bedroom with a queen-size bed. Nothing weird. Nothing out of place. Except one thing. On the small table near the door was a note written in neat cursive. Enjoy your stay. Please do not rearrange the furniture. I remember chuckling. Weird rule, but whatever. Asterisk, I dropped my bag, took a shower, and ordered a burger from the diner in town. When I came back, the sun had fully set, and the only light came from a porch lamp flickering on the main house. Asterisk, as I unlocked the guest house, I noticed something strange. Asterisk, the couch, which had been pushed against the far wall, was now angled slightly toward the hallway. Asterisk, I stared at it for a long second, wondering if I'd remembered wrong. Asterisk, maybe I'd bumped it. Asterisk, maybe the floor was uneven. I laughed it off. If I'd taken a picture earlier, I might have noticed how much it had moved. But I didn't. Asterisk. 2. The first night I didn't sleep well. Every Airbnb has weird noises. Settling wood, wind, pipes. But this was different. The sounds here were deliberate. Asterisk. Around 1:40 a.m., I woke up because something tapped. Asterisk, not knocked, not creaked. Tapped. Asterisk 3 times. Steady, soft. Tap, 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 tap. I held my breath. Asterisk, the tapping was coming from the living room. Asterisk, I sat up, listening so hard my ears hurt. For a while, nothing happened. Maybe it was a branch hitting the wall, maybe the heater. I almost convinced myself of that, until something scraped lightly across the floor. Asterisk a dragging sound, something moving. I froze. Asterisk, I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and stepped into the hallway. The living room was empty and still. Everything was silent except for the fridge humming. Asterisk, but something was different. Asterisk, the couch, which I'd already noticed earlier, had moved again. Asterisk this time. It was turned completely toward the hallway, like it was watching the bedroom door, like it had been waiting. A chill crawled up the back of my neck. Asterisk, I pushed it back against the wall, this time harder, wedging it into place. Then I checked all the locks twice, crawled back into bed, and lay awake until morning. 3. The host asterisk at 10 a.m. I walked to the main house to ask the host about the furniture thing. The porch steps creaked. Wind rustled through tall grass. But nobody came to the door. I knocked again. Nothing. Asterisk, there was a faded welcome sign, but the place felt abandoned. I walked back, telling myself the host worked early shifts or something. Asterisk, but then I saw another message on the Airbnb app. Asterisk, I hope you slept well. Please remember not to move the furniture. My stomach tightened. I typed back. Asterisk, I didn't. The couch keeps moving on its own. Is there an issue with the floor? She didn't reply. 4. Something in the night that evening, I tried to relax, watch TV, ate leftover fries, scrolled on my phone. Everything felt normal until around 11:30, when the temperature inside suddenly dropped. Not gradually like someone opened a walk-in freezer. Asterisk, my breath, FOGG. Asterisk, the heater was still running, blowing warm air, but the room felt freezing. Asterisk, I wrapped myself in a blanket and tried to ignore it. Asterisk, 20 minutes later, I heard footsteps. Soft, heavy, not animal, not wind, slow. Pacing steps from the living room, then the tapping again. 3 taps. Asterisk, this time against the bedroom wall. Asterisk, I whispered, no, 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 no. My heart thudded. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands and turned on the flashlight. The hallway was empty again, but I could feel something, a pressure. A presence, like someone was standing just out of sight. Asterisk, when I shined the light into the living room. My brain couldn't make sense of it at first. Asterisk, the couch wasn't just moved up. It was pushed tightly against the bedroom door, blocking me inside. Asterisk, like something didn't want me coming out. Asterisk, I yelled, partly from fear, partly from pure confusion, and shoved the couch away with all my strength. It scraped loudly across the floor. The room felt wrong, airless. Asterisk, like I'd interrupted something. My hands were shaking uncontrollably that night. I didn't sleep at all. 5. Looking for answers. Asterisk, by morning, I'd made up my mind. I wasn't staying another night until I talked to the host face to face. Asterisk, the front door of the main house was unlocked. Asterisk, I called out, hello, Marjorie? No response. Inside, the house smelled musty, like it hadn't been aired out in months. There were plates in the sink, dust on every surface, mail stacked up on the counter. Asterisk, the place was abandoned. Completely. There was no way anyone was living there. Asterisk, no way she'd written that note or sent those Airbnb messages. Fear sank into my stomach like a stone. I backed out and walked quickly toward the guest house to grab my stuff. That's when I noticed the blinds were open. I knew I'd closed them, every last one, and on the glass door was a new note, taped from the inside. Asterisk, stop moving the furniture. My heart stopped. Someone or something had been inside while I was gone. 6. The cameras. Asterisk, I called Airbnb support. They put me on hold. While waiting, I remembered something. Many Airbnbs have outdoor cameras to monitor guests. Asterisk, I went outside, scanning the eaves. Nothing. Then I noticed a small vent on the guest house wall near the living room window. I knelt down, peering inside. Asterisk, behind the slats, hidden in shadow, was a tiny black lens, a camera, but the angle wasn't pointing outward. Asterisk, it was aimed inside, aimed at the couch. My blood ran cold. Asterisk, who puts a camera pointing inward at the furniture? Asterisk, I ripped it out and tossed it. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped it twice. When I went back in, the room felt different again, heavier, like the air itself was watching. 7. The thing that moves. I packed my bag fast. I just needed to be out, gone, away. Asterisk, but when I stepped toward the door, something shifted behind me. A scraping, a dragging, asterisk slow, deliberate, like furniture being pulled. I whipped around. Asterisk the couch had moved again, sliding across the floor as I watched. Nobody was behind it. Nothing was touching it. Asterisk it dragged itself toward me, inch by inch, like a slow-moving animal. Asterisk I stumbled back so fast I hit the doorframe. Asterisk my throat went dry. The couch stopped about 3 feet away. Then, and I swear on my life this is true, I heard breathing, slow, raspy, coming from the darkness beneath. The couch I dropped my bag and ran, escape asterisk I bolted across the yard, past the shed, past the abandoned farmhouse, straight to my car. My hands were fumbling so badly I dropped my keys twice before unlocking the door. Asterisk as the engine started. I looked back once, just once. The guest house door was now wide open. Asterisk and the couch. The couch was sitting in the doorway. Asterisk like something inside had pushed it there to watch me leave, like it was memorizing me. Asterisk 9. Aftermath asterisk. I drove 3 hours without stopping. Checked into the first motel I found. Didn't sleep asterisk the next day. I checked the Airbnb listing again. It was gone. Completely removed. Asterisk I tried messaging the host. No reply. Her profile was deleted. Asterisk I called the Red Willow Sheriff's Office. Asterisk they said the farmhouse I described had been empty for years. Asterisk belonged to an older woman who died in 2019. Asterisk no one else had lived there since. Asterisk when I told the officer about the guest house and the Airbnb listing, he paused for a long time. Then he said, "Greater than, sir. That property doesn't have a guest house." I hung up because I didn't know what to say asterisk, because I didn't know how to explain what I'd seen. Asterisk. Okay, because part of me still wonders if anyone would believe me. Asterisk. And because I can still hear that sound sometimes when I'm trying to sleep. Asterisk that. Soft, deliberate tapping, 3 taps, followed by the slow drag of furniture across a wooden floor. Final line asterisk. Sometimes I dream that when I wake up, the couch will be sitting right there by my bedroom door, like it finally caught up to